Hey everyone, it's Raghu, and I have the pleasure, real pleasure, because I've known about my next guest, today's guest, Sam Bercholz. And Sam, I've known about you for a long time because we have a lot of common
crossovers.
Commonality.
Yes.
Welcome, Sam.
Pleasure to be here.
So, just a little bit of an introduction. First of all, thanks for Shambhala. This is Sam's brainchild that is still with us, very much so. And the other notable entry in this is that Sam is a student of Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche. Many of you have heard because we have talked about him many, many different times. And of course, Ram Dass was close to Trungpa. And there was that whole great season in 74 where Naropa started. So there's a lot of that commonality. And I hope you don't mind, but I want to introduce you and get your background and all that a little bit.
Whatever you like, right?
Yeah.
I'm your guest. Just don't hit me too hard.
I introduced a podcast with Ram Dass many years. We've been doing this for 10 years. We had our anniversary, so we've done a lot of podcasts. But I found one and I introduced it, and it was Ram Dass talking about Trungpa. He was really basically talking about the pushback that he was getting. What are you doing with this teacher who drinks and, extramarital sex, all of that? Mm-hmm. And so he responded to that, and I pulled it, and I wanted to share it with you because you definitively talk about it in the book.
Yes.
What Trungpa represented, basically. So I want to talk about that. But before anything, how did you get involved in all of this? I was a horrible teenage miscreant that had no choice but to find something.
Yeah. I was a refugee in this country. I came here as a displaced person. I'm what they call a child of the Holocaust. My parents were in the concentration camps. They were married even before then. And they found each other afterwards. My mother was in an orphanage in Sweden. She wasn't an orphan, but she was 30 years old, but she weighed 60 pounds, so she looked like no orphan. So, I come from that world, born in Sweden. And when I came to America, there were no rules. I had no idea how this game worked. And I was very confused, okay, here I am. But I became very interested in all kinds of phenomena, particularly political phenomena. And when I was, 13, I went and worked at the Kennedy headquarters in San Francisco, and by a set of circumstances, I became Edward Kennedy's assistant. Kid assistant. He had a secretary. Yeah. We had his big desk, the secretary's desk, and my little desk next to it. And I wasn't afraid of work, and I wasn't afraid of talking to anybody. Mm-hmm. In fact, I've probably talked to more presidents than as a kid.
Really?
Because I always liked to go to because I didn't know I always liked to go to the top. It was like a crazy thing. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that you had to go through all the little mazes, so I didn't go through any mazes. And, I was very hardworking. I ran my parents' grocery store because I'm the one who spoke English. Mm-hmm. I ordered and did things like that and worked for Kennedy. And by a set of circumstances, I ended up in Washington, D.C. I was going to be a Democratic Party apparatchik. Uh, uh, I probably would have been horrible, because the odd thing is I couldn't really learn Russian, and the Vietnam War was going on, and all the people who were my heroes, I learned firsthand, were liars. That everything that came out of their mouth was, not everything, but a very high percentage was bullshit. Excuse my language. You know?
Oh.
And I had a sort of a revulsion to my path, which was this idea of wanting to help people through the political system. It was, I was some kind of idealist. And so I came back to San Francisco after I think it was the year at George Washington University, and being in that environment. And I started working at the San Francisco post office while I was going to school at San Francisco State College, as it was called at the time. And I worked a shift that was the 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. shift, depending on the day, and then went to school, an hour later. And during that time, I met so many interesting people. One of them was my lifetime friend, Michael Fagan. And we were really interested in wanting to discover what was genuine and what was real. He was studying art. I was studying, I don't know what I was studying. I was just going to, I was already disillusioned. And so we went and checked out every spiritual scene that there was in the greater San Francisco Bay Area. And there were a lot of them, even at that time. That was probably 1967, is my guess. 66, 67, probably. And so, sometimes the two of us together, sometimes just me, sometimes just him. We checked out every possible thing. The only thing we left out was Anton LaVey, because we weren't really interested in Satanism. So we didn't, we didn't. But other than that, we checked out everything. And what clicked was this man named Joe Miller. And you may or may not have heard of him. At that time, no. He was retired and an elderly gentleman, which I find really funny, because he was probably the age I am now, right? But I viewed him as like an old goat. And he looked like a goat. He had he was a Capricorn and had a goat goatee, and somehow he was the president of the Theosophical Society, and that's where we met him. But wasn't that interested in theosophy. I'd read, I'm a reader type. I'd read Madame Blavatsky and I'd read the whole thing, Alice Bailey, all these things, and I'm going, okay, what do you do with this nonsense? And
which is what Krishnamurti would have characterized.
He said exactly the same thing, right? What are these people doing?
Yeah.
And so he taught Michael and I how to meditate at his house, and introduced us to his wife, Guinevere. And Joe had been a very close friend of Walter Yeeling Evans Wentz, W.Y. Evans Wentz, who had translated the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the early translations of Tibetan texts. So he started teaching us from the Tibetan Book of the Great Liberation, how to meditate and how to have a particular view and all those sort of things. And then on Tuesday nights, he had a gig as a Zen or as a Chan teacher at the Buddhist Lecture Hall in Chinatown in San Francisco. The Buddhist Lecture Hall is the oldest Buddhist temple in North America. And that was a great experience, learning about Huineng. Also, while we were sitting there meditating at his home, he had this beautiful portrait, a photograph that was painted over of Sri Ramana Maharshi. And actually, I was so moved by the painting that I commissioned one myself from the Sri Ramana ashramam in Tiruvannamalai, I believe there is. And actually, it still hangs in the offices of Shambhala Publications. In Boulder. Yes, because, to me, it says it all. It's like, okay, spirituality, complete wakefulness, it does exist, And I wasn't a publisher at that time, but I had a bookstore called Shambhala Booksellers on Telegraph Avenue in Berkeley. And I arranged to have a couple of thousand copies of each pamphlet, Who Am I and Spiritual Instruction, the key text of Ramana Maharshi, printed in India. And I sold them in my bookstore for 25 cents each. And people who didn't want to buy the 25 cents or couldn't afford it or whatever their excuse was, I'd give them a copy. One was red and one was blue. There are my beginnings.
Really? Well, good. That's a pretty good beginning.
Yeah,
Ramana
not bad.
Maharshi.
Yeah. Well, it was a mixture of Ramana Maharshi, Tibetan Buddhism through theosophical eyes, and Chan through also theosophical eyes, but there was also a Chan
Buddhism.
Chan Buddhism is the Chinese precursor of Zen.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Well, okay. That's a good mashup for sure.
Yeah. And those were the things that appealed to me. Oh, I forgot. I had a little time with my friend Haridas Chaudhry and his wife, Bina. They had an ashram that was a block from where I was living in San Francisco. And I would go there to listen to Dr. Chaudhry to do yoga. And came very close to them. I had a radio show before my bookstore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on KPK, whatever it was, the first rock station. And Big Daddy Tom Donahue, who was the manager of the station, you know who he is.
Very well.
Are you from the Bay Area? So Big
No,
Daddy.
I'm from Montreal.
Oh, you're from Montreal.
But I lived in the Bay, and I was on Telegraph and went into the Shambhala bookstore in 1969, I think.
Yeah.
So,
but I also had this relationship with Dr. Chaudhry and his wife, and that thing. Also, I had this radio show, and the radio show was because Big Daddy didn't want a Christian religious hour, which was a requirement that the FAA had.
Yeah.
It was a religion show. So he got Alan Watts to do the first part. I forget which. So there was an hour or hour and a half that was half Alan Watts and half this kid, Sam.
Really? Wow. And did you hang out with Alan at all?
Oh, Alan and I actually became very good friends.
Oh, really?
Partly because we shared this strange thing. We were the religious show for the most popular radio station in San Francisco, also known as the Acid Come Down Hour, as was also known.
Yeah, that's great.
Because it was on Sunday mornings.
It's so weird, Sam. I did the same thing in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I met Ram Dass. I was a program director of, I forget the call letters of that Tom Donahue station, but a similar thing. a very prominent, large audience. It really had a spread.
Yes.
And we were similar to what Tom was doing, which, they played jazz, they'd play rock, they'd play folk, they'd play Indian music. It was all a big hodgepodge. And it was there that I met Ram Dass, because they wanted me to, promote him doing a lecture at McGill University in Montreal back then. And I didn't know who Ram Dass was at that time, so I said, what's that? And, Tim, Larry, and Richard, cool, yes, of course, I love them. And they sent me a tape, and that was the beginning of the end for me, actually. I met Ram.
How old were you?
Early 20s.
Oh, yeah, you were a little old. Are you older than me?
I don't know. I didn't ask you.
I just turned 79.
Yep, I'm older than you. But,
go figure. Okay.
Yeah, I'm 80.
So that we got that 1 year difference. That was the 1 year difference between San Francisco and Montreal. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Anyhow, also to say is that when I met him, and you talk about some of this when you talk about teachers in the book, when you talk about Trungpa and other teachers that you've had,
yes,
talking about what trust is and what the relationship is with a student and a teacher. And I got that immediately from Ram Dass, and it led me to go within a year. He went back to India, and I just said, I got to meet whoever this is. I got to meet him. Mm-hmm. And although he said, well, nobody's supposed to know about him, and I can't tell you his name, and I can't tell you where he is.
Right.
And I just said, look, I'm going to come. So he did accommodate a few people like Krishna Das. I don't know if you know him.
Oh, of course, he's famous.
Yeah. If you bump into
he plays a lot of music,
Yeah, he sure does. So that trust got me into very early on into an extraordinary space that I never in a million years would have thought possible. In the process of learning how not to believe my thoughts and my stories and the habitual patterns and neurotic tendencies and all of it. It was elemental. So I was really fortunate, which is what, by the way, everybody, Sam has a book. It's called Rude Awakenings. There it is. And you know what this book is like? I'm friendly with Joseph Goldstein. The Joseph is such a great teacher.
I publish. Most of the people you can name, I've published.
You published them. Yeah.
Right. It's weird.
Yeah. And a lot of them I have done podcasts with, okay?
Hey, there you go.
But Joseph had a book. I guess maybe you published it, Sam. I don't know. Mindfulness, that tome that Joseph wrote?
No,
maybe somebody else published it. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually left my active role quite a long time ago.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Yeah, and this book is, I don't know, that book is maybe 12 to 15 years. But the reality is, the reason there's a comparison because it's this thick. 500-600 pages. It's the definitive mindfulness.
Mine's only 380.
I know, but
because we shaved it down.
Yeah, right. So he came. He joined us in Maui. We still do them in Maui retreats when we started with Ram Dass, and we always had, which is the interesting thing. People think it's bhakti yoga. This is where these people come from. Trungpa used to call us light and lovers. And
love and lighters.
Love and lighters, yes.
And like a lighter.
Yeah, right. So the reality is much different. The legacy is.
No, I understand that.
Is definitely devotional yoga for sure, but also Buddhist discriminating wisdom. Many of us have been with Buddhist teachers, and from the very beginning. And I'm going to point this out when we start chatting about Trungpa. It's a incredible thing. I had no idea, but how it's so wild how things dissect in one's life and you never knew about it. It's just crazy. Anyhow, everybody, in preparing for this podcast, of course, there is no way on earth that I could have read the entire book. I've only got it about a week or so.
Yeah.
Okay, it's phenomenal. It's got everything, and yeah, and you'll love Sam's sense of humor, which is so very important. But I do want to, I was struck by the first premise. You just start right out with it, which is that we are all addicts. People go, addict? I'm not an addict. And I'm sorry, but that's not true. And I think you say, since beginningless time, I have fooled myself constantly, but by believing that there is some solid me that exists in this life, just like in all my previous lives, even though it's been pointed out to me numerous times, I'm still totally addicted to this idea of a self that's separate from everything else. And this is our natural human dilemma.
Yes.
Talk about it a little bit, Sam.
Well, habit and addiction are something that I have felt this whole life. And I never have been addicted to a substance. So I don't know what it is to be an alcoholic. I don't know what it is to be addicted to any particular drug, but I know I'm addicted to two things really heavily. One is this idea of referring everything back to me, and me, and even using non-ego ideas to refer back to me. It's insidious. The whole thing is insidious.
Oh God! I did a thing with my friend, another podcaster, he should have you. I'll tell him to get you on his show, Duncan Trussell. And we did the thing called the movie of me to the movie of we, and we used ourselves as examples of how that me gets developed, and then some of the antidotes to it. So this comes from Krishnada's. I heard he gave a talk about well, you wake up in the morning, and what's the first thing is me, and that me extends for 24 hours, and you're the director, producer, script writer. You even do the reviews and you read them.
Yeah. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to just continue with the number 2. The other habit, addiction, is reality. And so-called reality. I hate that reality changes, but
awful.
Whoops.
Awful,
I got to trade in this reality for that reality. Okay. But what I've learned through Buddhist practice and being with great teachers is that the fixed ideas of reality and viewing the world, we're 180 degrees off. We experience things exactly backwards. Our habit of reality is so skewed that it makes everything, all perceptions, backwards. So we choose our realities: scientific reality, Hindu reality, Buddhist reality, Christian reality, pizza reality, whatever we want to call it, whatever reality, reality of whatever the reality of the day is, and we become addicted to keeping that reality going. What I learned is that you can take these bad habits, these addictions. And you can begin by changing the addictions, by creating good addictions, good habits, meditation habit, mantra habit, loving kindness habit, and so on and so on. But it's still habit. Mm-hmm. It's still an idea of reality. And but the change opens us up to the possibility of no habit. No habit, for as an example, is an epithet of the Buddha. The Buddha is the Buddha because there is no habit. There is no addiction there to anything. No habit about anything. So, that's sort of the beginning of the spiritual path is, it's not about going somewhere. It's about clearing up this mess.
We are, yeah. You know what I heard, Sam, or I read somewhere, but I thought, this is a great thing. His Holiness, Dalai Lama, said, in relation to so much self-focus, self-interest that we attend to all the time, he said, here's what I do. I remind as soon as I wake up, I remind myself that nothing exists as it appears. Nothing.
That's the 180-degree thing, yes.
As it appears. And secondly, all beings want to be happy.
Exactly.
But they experience suffering. So we cultivate compassion to help people transform their negative emotions. So I thought this is something that immediately takes you out of what am I doing today? Where am I going? What happened? I had a lousy night, whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's I think that somewhat can help address that issue that we all have. You know what? I think we should, because I don't want to run out of time.
Don't worry. I see what you're. Oh, God, that went quick. That's ridiculous.
Right, exactly.
Holy moly!
Okay. I want to bring up this thing around Trungpa Rinpoche, because many people who are listening have that thing in their heads, or whatever it may be, that how could a being like this exist in this, especially in the age we're in now, which is quite difficult, shall we say?
Totally different.
So what I want to do is just quote a couple of things from Ram Dass, as I said earlier in this talk that I had found. So he starts with being at a talk with Trungpa. And he said, I was sitting in the back under a stairwell, minding my own business, and he sat down, and though he was staggering around, and he had this paralyzed left arm, and he wanted to smoke a cigarette, and he'd stick the cigarette in between the paralyzed fingers at the time, and he'd lift the arm to bring the cigarette to his mouth, and the whole thing had a totally Dr. Strange glove in the last stages of the DTs or something. But then he spoke, and it was just far out. It was like a clear mountain stream. And then afterwards, I didn't understand everything he said, because it was a different place he was speaking from that I could understand. It wasn't sort of my metaphor or something, but they said, would you come up and meet Trungpa? So I came up, and I was clinging to my mala. I was doing japa, doing my beads. And I looked at Trungpa, and I looked in his eyes, and it was like looking down into two wells, just infinitely deep wells. And this is after he met Neem Karoli Baba, so it's not, just to get that straight.
Got it.
There just wasn't anything there at all. I mean, no matter where I looked, I couldn't find anything in there, just black pools. could be just a kind of genetic defect or something, but it had a very strange impact because I dropped my beads, which I never do. And he bent over and picked them up and handed them back to me in his lame, drunken fashion. Next thing he knew, he was in Wyoming at a seminar with Trungpa called Crazy Wisdom. Mm-hmm. And that is central to people having any understanding, which very difficult to do in this in the age that we are in right now. At times, rather, very difficult. So he talked about his antecedents, and you gave quite a nice thing in the book going over like where he came from and so on. And he had heard. Do you remember who Lama Govinda was?
Oh yeah, I published him too.
Oh yeah.
And I met him when he came to California.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
So Ram Dass was friendly with him, I guess. And then, so Lama Govinda says, well, it's too bad what Trungpa is doing in America because it's bad for Buddhism. And Ram Dass said, well, I got no investment in Buddhism. What I heard Lama Govinda was talking about, I wasn't sure, that wasn't reflecting an attachment on his part to the scholarship. I mean, there's a beautiful Buddhist meditation. If you're meditating and you meet the Buddha, slay him, wipe him out. Don't get hung up on worship. And then there was a Lama, he said, in India that said about Trungpa, when you go to the top of a mountain with a bird and the bird flies, don't think you can. And what Ram Dass said, and he quoted the Gita, don't do another's dharma. That's adharmic. Don't do another person's trip. Do your own trip. And he said, the reason I hung out with Trungpa during this period was that I recognized the kind of sickness that had developed in the Western spiritual scene wasn't a sickness. It was merely a route through, but it had a neurotic quality to it. Let's put it that way. And the quality was that a lot of people got busy being holy, thinking holiness. They were sort of coming on holy to themselves and everyone else. And I was one of the chief perpetrators of that thing, which, and we talked about this, is why we got called. We would go down to the tail of the tiger at the time. Yeah. And, you know, light lovers and light and lovers, whatever, right, you know, right. It was a, you know, so he went on, and I won't go too much further into it. Mm-hmm. He actually, this was an important thing. I don't know if you were there. Did you go to Tail of the Tiger before it was renamed Karma Trolling?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, many a time.
Yeah, so maybe...
But I'm a West Coast guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And
well,
so my, it's a quick drive to Montreal, but
yeah, right.
It's a long flight.
It was even shorter. My father had a farm just over the Vermont border. It was an hour and change to get to get there.
Exactly.
And so Ram Dass and all of us used to get together at this farm, and then we go over. I mean, you know, what a wonderful little blessing. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, we went, and this is a famous thing that you may have seen because there's a video of it with Trungpa. And Ram Dass, come on up here. You can answer some questions. And it was and he was doing a thing around Don Juan. Remember?
Oh, yes, I remember that era. Yes.
Yeah. And he said to Ram Dass, you got to be responsible. And Ram Dass was like, me being responsible? You know, my guru is responsible. And they went through this whole thing that ended up with, they call it Trungpa had a cigarette, the sacred ash, and he flicked it on.
Oh, yes. I'm familiar with this.
Yeah, it's a famous thing, you know, really cool.
Yeah.
So he definitely, Ram Dass definitely he was really open. Ram Dass was open, and he certainly moved through a lot of different spiritual circles.
Yes.
And he was, Maharaji Neem Karoli Baba would, go see him, go see him, And so he had a kind of openness that allowed him to be able to, I think, really help people, because he was he was at Naropa the first days of Naropa and did that Gita course thing and hung out with.
Exactly, yes.
So it was very, he was the right guy. Trungpa picked the right guy in relation to his background and where he was in the culture and all of that. And the other thing that struck me, so I want you to talk about your relationship with the negativity and then the reality, which whatever. But there's one interesting thing.
And what is that, sir?
That is, one day I went to see Neem Karoli Baba on my way to the Canadian consulate to get an extension on my passport. And
Mr. George?
Yeah.
Uh-huh, okay.
So on my way there, Neem Karoli Baba said, "You just had darshan of a high Tibetan Lama?" I said, No, Maharaj. I never met a Tibetan. Maybe you mean this Buddhist teacher, Munindra, who was doing Vipassana that we were...
Burmese, right?
He was, and he was going to come, and he couldn't come. But I said he couldn't. And Maharaj said, "Night, Tibet Lama. He took you in a room and gave you teachings." I said, "I've never met a Tibetan." Jiao. That was the end of that. Jim George.
I think Rinpoche might have been living at the Canadian High Commissioner's. Were you in Delhi?
I went to the mansion in Delhi for lunch with...
Rinpoche was living in that particular mansion.
Trungpa?
That's the one we're talking about.
No, because what happened is I walked in and I had heard that Canada was allowing refugees from Tibet to go into Canada. And I said, "Is that true?" He said, "Yeah, as a matter of fact." And he went like that. Out of a door comes Kalu Rinpoche. And 6 or 8 of his monks, and we sat and had lunch, and I really remember it because he was sitting across from me, and I was like, he's eating chicken. I was a vegetarian at that point. I figured, he's eating chicken, I can eat chicken. I remember that time. Anyhow, two Canadian...
A strange little bit of history.
Yeah.
Mr. George and his family were very close with Trungpa Rinpoche from that time in India. And in fact, Trungpa Rinpoche's fascination with the British world and all the things he brought back were, in fact, things he learned about at the Canadian High Commission in New Delhi.
No. Jim,
including the flags and the whole thing.
Rigmarole, Jim was very close friends with the man who owned the radio stations that I work for, and he's the one who connected me to Jim if you have a problem, and Jim took care of it.
Yes. Then
these two CBC, Canadian Broadcasting guys, they said, "You want to come? We're going to interview him." I went into a room with Kalu Rinpoche, his translator, 2 guys, and me. And they kept asking dumb questions about Christianity, which he said, "I don't know anything about that." And he was like bored, looked like he was going to leave. Then they said to me, "Maybe you have something to ask." And as soon as that happened, it was like a laser beam Star Wars thing, boom. Yeah. And I asked some questions really about meditating. I've been in the mountains with my guru, and now I'm in the city. Do you have to be in the mountains to really accomplish being free from blah, blah? And so he gave me, 30, 40 minutes discourse on that and some other things. Yeah. But when I saw him the very first second, and of course, Neem Karoli Baba had told me, "Okay, you're going to meet this guy, and he's going to give the whole thing." Yes. Well, I was like on acid for about a week after that. But this introduction and the reality. I can't believe Trungpa lived there too. He probably just wasn't there that day, or he would have been part of that.
No, and he was in love with Mr. and Mrs. George's daughter.
No.
What do you mean, no?
That's a question.
He wanted to marry her.
Really?
Yes, she refused.
And this is before he went to Scotland, England?
Yes, this is when he was a refugee in
he had just come
India.
from Tibet. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Later,
So wild.
Mr. George donated some of his land, which in Colorado, Dorje Kyungzong, to Trungpa Rinpoche as a retreat center, and in Pátzcuaro, Mexico, which is also a retreat center. And Mr. George was kind of a student of the whole family were kind of students of Trungpa Rinpoche.
Really?
But they were Gurdjieffian students, so they were very serious. I don't want to explain what Gurdjieff is. It's just it's a very particular thing.
Not in the next few minutes, that's for sure.
No.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing, about the book, this book that I wrote, is that this book was written by request. It's not something I wanted to write. My second teacher, Kyabje Thinley Norbu Rinpoche, one of the great Nyingma masters, oldest son of Chogyam Rinpoche, said, for the future and for future students of Dharma, Trungpa Rinpoche will be extremely important. Please write down what you learned from Trungpa Rinpoche, not what he taught me, what I learned. So this book is dumb refugee from Europe American view of Buddhism with breadth and depth. What can I say?
Well, look, the central thing here, I mean, we could have maybe 3 or 4 podcasts to really...
Happy to. If you got
we'll
time,
do it. Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah.
And I do come to Ojai sometimes.
Okay. Well, we have to meet when you do that. And we'll get
for sure
Jamie to set that up. But for you, the bedrock to the teachings, you call it for entering the mind of Buddha, is meditation. Meditation practice is the only thing that lets us step out of what Trungpa Rinpoche called, I love this term, the bureaucracy of ego, which is all the things that are being that make us believe that we are separate from everything else, that there is something to be gained. Nothing breaks through that except meditation practice itself. And I will step aside a little here and just, it's not a rebuttal because you talk about chant as a very important practice. It is core to our practice for sure. And so is meditation. It's again, the legacy is really that kind of combination. But talk about, what is he, this seems like a gigantic mountain in one sense. In another, there's nothing else to do. Talk about
that. Yes and no. At some point, things ease up. And the sense of solidity eases up. Then you can chant. And I probably spend more time chanting than you do, interestingly enough. My time with my teacher, Kyabje Thinley Norbu Rinpoche, every evening for 21 years, we sat with our teacher and we did puja for 2 to 5 hours. Wow. Every day. So, that's a lot of chanting, I'll tell you. And also, I do these pop-up pujas, occasionally in Ojai, LA, different places, just for those who hear about it, friends.
I love that pop-up puja. That you got to trademark that, Sam.
Oh, hey. And what do? We sit for a little bit, and then we chant. It's just, we chant in English, in Tibetan, and then bijas in Sanskrit.
Really? Wow,
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah. So, we're not Zen. But by the way, the Zenis chant a lot too.
Yeah. Here's something you say. There is a way to work with, the aspects of our life that aren't neurotic. That isn't just compulsive or time filling. I mean, this is so much central to our culture right now.
Yes.
It is truly up to us. Whether we're 18 or 30 or 50 or 70 years old, we haven't just been wasting and filling time in this one life. It is said in the Buddhist teachings that we have been doing this since beginningless time. If we fritter away our lives doing busy work, having busy relationship, worrying about money and so forth, all we get is more of that. Really, the net result is precisely more of that. The starting point is mindfulness, which begins with mindfulness of small, simple things. And, I think that's central, Sam. Actually, the several methods that we're speaking to, meditation, chanting, mindfulness, those are pretty central, I would say, to having any chance at, just spaciousness at all from what we're involved with day to day.
My answer, unfortunately, is silence. Oh, dear.
Oh. Okay, well then, I'm going to prompt you about one other thing, which is something that's really part of our little, it's not ours at all, I don't know what I'm talking about, but the reality. And Ram Dass, actually, we did a film called Becoming Nobody, around Ram Dass's teachings around that. And so, first of all, he said, to become nobody, first you have to be somebody, or very difficult to be, nobody on that level. But so the director asked him a question in an interview and said, "Just tell me, I'm young, out on the path, and so on. What's the two most important things that you would advise me?" And Ram Dass said, "Love and humor." And you talk about humor and its effect. And, you talk about it in the book as an important, more than once in different sections, as an important ingredient in terms of the self-seriousness, especially spiritual practitioners.
Yeah. One has to just have wonder at everything that manifests. And what I find is so much of what manifests is extremely funny. It's outrageously funny. And if I try to be too serious, about all the different manifestations of nature, of people, of animals, of my own, mind, and so on, part of learning to be quiet, learning to be respectful of teachers, and enlightened beings, and awareness is the fodder for humor, because one sees the outrageous nature of the things we've been talking about: habit, Trungpa Rinpoche, Baba Ram Dass, you, me, the people who are watching. It's pretty funny. It's ridiculous. I mean, we're talking about the ineffable. Now that's a big joke, right? The minute I talk about Dharma, as Francesca Fremantle pointed out, The minute I talk about Dharma, I'm lying. And I have to laugh at the fact that I'm lying because I'm trying to explain the ineffable. How do you explain the ineffable? It's a joke, right? And it's seeing these these things. They keep the path open.
Yeah.
If one doesn't take oneself too seriously, it keeps the path open. Now, I used to be a very serious person.
Oh.
But I'm an Eastern European Jew, and that's the world I come from, and I noticed all the American comedians when I came to this country. I watched TV. All these Eastern European Jews are making all these sort of jokes that I'd only heard in Yiddish before. And it was like, it was a riot, that all they did is translate jokes from Yiddish. And then it's like, they became big time stars in English. So here I am, a comic that translates things from Dharma. And I think it's pretty funny.
I love this, though, when you're speaking to, the predicament that you look at, Jesus, minute to minute, and you see the predicament, through mindfulness and awareness and all.
Yes.
But I love what you say. What makes certain situations so funny is that we can totally identify with them, of course. That's why this special sense of humor is connected to a sweet kind of tenderness. Yeah, parse that out a little bit, because I think that's refreshing, to say the least.
Well, tenderness is we all have a soft spot in us. And that soft spot in us is where love arises from. And even the toughest MF or toughest M mother, I can say that, has a soft spot somewhere, and it's all kinds of interesting things can bubble out of that soft spot, whether intentionally or not, and it's just there. There's really not much to say because it's there. It's there. And the innate humor of our predicament, we call it me, and sometimes, and we call it life at other times, and we call it death at other times, and we call it sickness at other times. We have all kinds of names for it. It's all pretty ridiculous. Even how much it hurts is ridiculous. Even how much it hurts is there's some humor to how much it hurts.
That's a vantage that I would say everybody listening would go, wow, I don't know if I can get there. But that's what the point is of all of this, is day by day by day, we're getting better and better. As
No, day by day by day, we're repeating things over and over and over. And what enlightened masters tell us, enlightened masters don't have a nationality. They're not just Indian and Tibetan and like that. There are enlightened masters. Some, you might run into a, farmer in Idaho, planting his potatoes or whatever it is. There's this there's wisdom hidden away, and there's wisdom that's whatever. But at least for me, all the people that I would prostrate to have an outrageous sense of humor. What can I say?
Makes me think of, I don't know what, 16th Karmapa.
Well, there is one that I'll prostrate right now.
Yeah,
just you saying his name, his image appeared.
Yeah.
And I remember being with him. This is the image of walking into the Avery Brundage collection in Golden Gate Park in San Francisco, and at the Asian Art Museum. And we walk in, and then we go down the hall, and there's this beautiful statue of Buddha, and immediately His Holiness the 16th Karmapa looks at that, and instantly he's doing prostrations to the image.
Wow.
You know, this mountain of a man, right?
Mm.
And, you know, people do prostrations to him, millions.
Yeah.
He's prostrating to metal.
Yeah. Right. You know what? One day, just before 16th left, 16th Karmapa, I managed, very fortunate to see him.
Were you in Zion or?
No, it was in L.A. in Black Hat ceremony.
Yes, yes.
So everybody's going up and individual blessings and kata, scarf and everything.
Yep.
And this was about 8 years after Neem Karoli Baba left, so it wasn't that long. Mm-hmm. And I got about 10 feet away in the line to get in front of him. Mm-hmm. And then I went, and I've told this story a billion times, but it's something I wanted to share with you in particular because I remember the thought that I had. Oh shit! This is the same as what the Neem Karoli Baba thing is. This is the same thing.
Enlightenment is the same. It just has different forms.
Yeah.
It's the absence of habit.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, this is beyond that. Beyond the absence of habit.
No. Beyond, it is the essence of.
The absence of.
It is immediate. It's immediate. There's no interpretation. I'm a religious fanatic. Apparently, you are too. But it's incredible. I was a lucky person being part of his lineage. I was able to serve him, be very close to him, and this is see this watch.
Oh yeah, that story is so great.
That story's in the book.
Yeah, we're gonna let you read about that. See, that's wonderful.
This is my daily reminder of Karmapa. I look at this, and this is the 16th Karmapa.
Yeah.
But the last words about this watch were Rolex, no good. And he pulls up his sleeve. Piaget. Very good. But it's you can read the full story in the book.
Yeah. And you also, of course, we're kind of at the end of our thing, but
yes.
Sam is going to send me some links both to the book so you can order it. And since we're talking about 16th Karmapa, there's a book called The Miraculous 16th, I believe is the name of the book, which is a bunch of stories.
Oh, Naomi.
Yeah. Fantastic book. I mean, this is, for me, it's like, okay, I've experienced this stuff just as some other body. It's not even, it's nuts. So we'll give that too as well. The producer, please make sure that goes in the show notes. And and you go to BeHereNowNetwork.com/mindrolling. And you'll be able to catch all of what we're speaking to in this podcast.
When I first heard the name of your podcast, I thought it came from the Mindrolling monastery in Dehradun, India.
Yeah. Do you want to know the truth?
Okay.
The truth is, it did.
Oh, dear.
But it wasn't nothing but me just liking, and I did, I've never met her in person, but I did take some, online stuff with Khandro Rinpoche.
Oh, she's a wonderful
fantastic
teacher, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Wonderful teacher.
Yes.
And I appropriated it, and I feel very bad, and on the other hand, I don't. But I love, what it represents.
It represents complete wakefulness. That's what it represents.
Yeah, it's the garden of becoming.
Oh, you're talking about Virginia here, but I can't remember it.
Yeah, I can't either. Oh, thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you.
So great to meet you. Finally.
You're fun. I spent a lot of time in Montreal. I'm adding this because my daughter is a McGill, a graduate.
Oh, really?
Yes, I used to go there all the time. And then for 15 years after I went there.
Really?
And I met the person who edited my book, Vincent. He used to come down and meet me.
Vincent Thibault, who I've had on a podcast, I believe.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
See, we made a relationship by him visiting me in Montreal. He'd come down from Quebec City. Yes.
Oh, really? Oh, God.
Yes.
Oh, well, I think I will bug you again, Sam. And
happily.
So we can go through some of the other things, because there's some wonderful themes in this book that can really help people. So here we are.
Here we are.
Thank you again.
Until next time. And may you live long, because, I have to respect you and so on. You're my elder. I never would have guessed, but hey, go figure,
That's what I'm thinking all the time. Go figure. What?
Exactly.
What? Yeah. Thank you, Sam. And
it's nice to share our little thoughts and insights.
Yeah. And everybody will see you next time. Go to BeHereNowNetwork.com/mindrolling and get all the info you need to, not to mention listening to Ram Dass, Alan Watts, Krishnamurti, Jack Korn. We have a lot of great people on the network, and you can check it out. And I will see you again next week. Thanks again.